We are going.
We're on time.
Ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, you ready? You can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Anybody like to do the invocation? All right, roll call. Brenda Epp?
Yes.
Jerry Harris? Here. Hank Mast? Robert Rodriguez here. Bill Starnes? Here. Steve Rhodes?
Yep.
And we'll start our business off with the approval of October 12th minutes. If everybody's already read it, Brenda was kindly enough to send it to us early again.
Yep.
So I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go ahead and turn it over to Bill with his financial report.
Okay, we wrote a lot of checks. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 checks for $5,405. I transferred $15,000 into the, out of the treasury, out of the money market. We have a balance of $195,032.96 in the money market. We are writing 3 extra checks tonight that aren't on the thing, will be on next month's. I'd like to find out what we want to do with the Douglas County. We finally ran out. Steve, do you know how much?
Are you talking Douglas Electric?
Yeah, the Douglas.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of what we budgeted for
We
that?
budgeted $1,600, but we're already into October's bill there. And when we replaced the lights outside with LED lights, it's actually dropped the bill. So that bill is for what, $80-some?
$89.46.
And that's a normal bill. So, so from now till, we got 6 months plus 2, 8 months at $90 would be $720 for the rest of the year. So we'll be under what we budgeted.
Well, do you want to do 800 and then we don't have to worry about it?
So 800 would carry us past the start of the fiscal year, it'd be half of what we budgeted.
Can I get an approval to write a check for $800 for Douglas Electric for the rest of the year?
I move we pay Douglas Electric $800 for the rest of the year.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll do that, then we don't have to worry about it.
If you look at the report, it came back with that canceled check on it to show we canceled that check out last month, and it shows it's been taken out of the, balanced off our checks, so we're balanced up straight.
If you guys,
Oh, one other thing, before, I'm sorry, Steve. I was talking to the bookkeeper, what I'm gonna do, if it's all right with the board, I guess we'll start getting our checks in from the county. As long as we can keep the 15,000 in, they recommended me just automatically start putting any checks that come in, except for, $100 here or there, just automatically deposit them into the money market account, if that's approval with the board.
I'm not sure that's appropriate.
I was wondering myself, like, what are the rules for it?
Well, we want to
What's
keep
the
15,000 in our checking. We've been putting everything, we transferred everything out of our checking into our money market account, so we get interest. So if we get a check for $8,000 or $10,000 or $12,000, whatever, in our tax, for our tax base, do we put it into the general fund, back into the checking account, so we have $30,000 back in the checking account, or do we just keep the 15 and put everything above the 15 into the money market account?
But the equipment fund is like on the books separate, right?
No, not as far as I know. We used to have
well,
two.
yeah, we're keeping track of the equipment. So it doesn't matter whether it goes in the money market, that has nothing to do with
Okay,
it.
as long as they,
That would all go into the general fund.
that's part of the general
Yeah.
fund, but
Yeah.
it would be in the, okay, then I agree with
And
that.
on the end of the year, on the budget, we transfer into the equipment fund, but that will be on your guys' vote. That won't happen on
Do we
that.
have
So
Does it make any difference to whoever is keeping track of this stuff, whether it
No.
goes into one or
No.
the other?
Well, they have to make sure it's indicated right now, any checks coming in, even though it goes into money market, it has to be indicated on QuickBooks that it's part of the general fund.
Right, whenever I do a deposit or whatever we send to her, we tell her what fund it's gonna be, so that's gonna all go. The only thing that's gonna go automatically in the equipment fund will be the, VFA grant reimbursement, because that's where that money came from.
The other one was just, what I wanted to know was, that when you write the bills out and you put what fund it comes out of, so if everything goes into the money market account, and then as we transfer it back into the general fund to write checks off, he writes what fund it comes out of. Like equipment fund or
I
whatever.
think we have to make sure we're using the right terminology. We have a money market account, and then we have a checking account.
Right.
Is that right?
Right,
The general fund is in terms of the budget, that's not in
Right, right,
terms
okay.
of the banking.
right.
I wanted to say that it was a large credit card, the largest one I've ever done, and half of that was a portable fire pump we got through the VFA grant. It was $2,375, so that's why that bill is so big. And we, I'll talk in a cheese minute, but we pretty much filled out the VFA grant, because I have to have that zeroed out by December 31st so we can get our money back, so we're just about done with it.
I got a question, the news review, do we post with them again? I just thought 321 seemed high, or is that just me?
That was, news review starting about 6 months ago, we never got billed. And one of the things was the budget notifications and everything else. And I went back through the books, because I asked her the same question, and they had not billed.
Oh, okay, so we
I
just,
thought for a while we had a balance, positive
We
balance.
did have a balance, and that paid off, but, like the budget notice, the LB one's like $257 by itself, and then they had pretty good track of receipts, and they had an intern working during the summer or something, they just plain didn't bill us for a period of time.
Pardon me, JR, can I get approval for those checks and approval
to go into general fund?
to write the checks we wrote, get approval for those?
Okay, and I'm sorry, there was 3 of them?
Right, and then we got approval for the $800,
Then that's one of them?
that was one of them.
Okay,
And then I also needed approval, so if we start getting these checks in, that I can deposit them into the money market account and just keep us at 15,000 in our checking account.
okay, I will, are you good?
Okay,
Go ahead.
it's only 3 checks, the $800 was already
And the
voted.
Cascade Fire Equipment for $8.43, and
That was for $175.99 for the boots.
Okay, I believe that we paid those 3 additional
Okay.
bills.
I second
They
that.
will.
And to put them, along with the depositing the money into the general funds,
Into the money market account.
okay, into the
Yeah.
money market account, okay?
Correct terminology.
Okay, okay, so Jerry,
To the money market account.
correct. So Jerry, you first?
I move.
Can I get a second?
So
Yeah,
you'll know what to put in the minutes for that,
Jerry
for the
moves,
motion.
and Brenda seconds, and I'll go look at the notes.
Okay.
So any money coming in from tax money will go into the general fund, but it's gonna be going into the money market as far as the banking
Right.
interest.
Okay.
Anything in addition to the 15,000.
So we need to actually vote on this motion now.
I will entertain a motion.
We already have the
All in
motion and
favor?
the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one passes, thank you.
We made $26 interest on this, on the money market, so it's better than nothing.
We've got about $250 this year so far, so that's much more than we ever got, back,
Yeah.
except way back when money markets were getting like 4%. but they're not anymore.
Maybe
And we should, about the 20th is, this month, we should get around $35,000 in taxes, at least probably around the 20th month, the first big shot.
Okay. Now I'll go deposit those into the money market and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Done, Bill?
I'm done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now we have Jerry back in his communication report, please.
All right.
From October 1st to November 1st on the website, the number of unique visitors increased this time from 301 to 318. The number of total visitors increased from 395 to 423. The number of pages accessed increased from 662 to 764. And our YouTube channel maintained a total of 14 subscribers. Updates on the website, posted approved documents, blotter calls, treasurer's reports, chief's reports, videos, and current fire danger level. We're out of fire season, so it indicates that. Added a link to the safety pages of the American Red Cross for requesting smoke alarms. That was approved last month to add that, including special alarms for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And there was a question last month about whether those alarms are free or not. And the Red Cross requests, if you're able to pay for the smoke alarm, please do. Otherwise, they provide them for free. And they'll install them if you need help installing them.
And we still have a supply of smoke detectors. We got on the grant a while back that are free,
Right.
and we'll install those also.
Okay. And added a few links on the home safety page that were received from an outside group. So those were added to the safety page. Proposed changes, I don't have anything specific at this time. I continue to welcome requests from the community members and from the board and volunteers and chiefs. Communications with agencies, I received the updates from DFPA on fire danger level, public restrictions, National Fire Prevention Week, in the past, and other things. I received newsletters and bulletins from SDAO, and I had submitted the award nomination for Fire Chief Steve Rhodes to SDAO. And sometime this month, SDAO will be notifying the winners. Communications with fire department, received the list of September blotter calls, and the report was received from the chief. I received from the chief the preliminary draft for the whistleblower policy and sent him some suggested changes. Communications with the community, I posted public notice for November board meeting on the website and at the fire station. Communications with private companies, agencies, received a possible spam email and reported it to the district president and the fire chief. So please, if you get any emails that you think are suspicious, let me know, forward it to me. I can check, like I did, I checked that link to see what it was going to, and that was a website that had been created just the day before, and it claimed to be coming from Texas, and yet it was registered to somebody in Colorado. So it seemed very suspicious. So I didn't want anybody clicking on the actual link. I just researched the website.
What was the subject of?
I don't even recall right now. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. They were trying to get us to apply to have us be recognized, receive a recognition for the city of Roseburg for what we do. And so it just seemed very suspicious.
I don't recall getting that one.
Yeah, I think it was called Best Recognition, the website, or something like that. So, and like I said, it had only been created the day before.
Interesting.
All right, District Operations Manual. I have something for that this month. I reviewed the 2016 amendments to the Oregon Revised Statutes that are relevant to our district. There were amendments to ORS 244, 297, and 477, none of which directly affect our district. I do recommend a revision to the district's operations manual to add ORS 659A to our list of relevant Oregon Revised Statutes. It covers unlawful discrimination, including the whistleblower protections.
No.
Okay, so that's one because we are now being As of January, all special districts and agencies need to develop a whistleblower policy. And I just want to point out, something else I want to recommend in relation to that. As part of the revision to the district operations manual, I recommend a revision to the district's operations manual to add a procedure requiring giving each district employee a copy of the district's whistleblower policy. That is required by that law.
Do you have to give it to them, or can you post it somewhere?
You can either give them a physical copy or email it to them. So those are two requirements we have to have.
Well, when we do our resolution, can we have those written all in the same resolution?
Well, it'll be part of it should be part of the policy that's going to get developed. Okay, in terms of communications equipment, I've continued to update software on the district computer. And it seems, it was just updating about half an hour ago or so. Today that Windows does major updates, and there were some major security updates for Windows 10. Okay. I do want to mention also, although I don't have it in my report, I did put up on the website, on the financials page, the report, the treasurer's report that Bill had from last month, but I did put a note next to the link to open it up that it's an uncorrected report because the board had voted to, at that meeting, to void one of those checks. And so that report does not show that there's a voided check, and the totals then don't reflect that the check was voided. But that gets corrected by this month's treasurer's report.
Good. Since you brought up the update to the computer, you want to talk about the other computer now?
We could save it for new business,
Okay,
or
that's fine.
if you want to discuss it today. If we're
Okay,
getting
I'll
to the
wait.
meeting real quickly.
I'll wait then.
Okay.
All right. Ma'am, right now, we're going to turn this over to you for any public comments. Do you have any?
No comments at this time.
Thank you. All right, I'll turn it over to Steve.
I gave you guys the Chiefs minute. October 2016, we had 15 total calls, 6 medical, 2 structure fires, 4 natural covers, 2 MVAs, 1 public assist, and I'll send that to Jerry. Fire season ended. As it ended, that was just about at our last meeting, I think, and that we had 4 control burns get away the day that it ended, and we had to suppress. Had some minor damage to a couple structures. And, that was the busiest day of the year. Was the first day of fire season. Fire season was closed. The structural fires we responded to were to Douglas 2 with water timber. We had 1 MVA that was a fatality on Lookingglass Road. It was the first one we had in 8 or 10 years, I think. And it was a pretty difficult call. The crews did a great job, and I want to mention Rich Chitwood. They moved out of district, but they live right at the bottom of the hill. And our policy says that if they live within the district or nearby, that they can still be members here. And Lindsay also is a member here. And he was the first on scene coming up the hill from the bottom, and made a really good call. Got down the hill, asked for mutual aid, which I was trying to butt in on the radio because everybody was talking to do the same thing. We got a Douglas 2 engine because that area below Tabor Lane, the 30-mile-an-hour curve down there, is actually Douglas 2 between Roseburg and us. And we ended up getting Douglas 2's engine 3 from Melrose, which is their technical rescue specialty engine and everything else, and rope rescue team. So we had a pretty difficult extrication down there. Had to move a bunch of our tools down the hill and use the rope system to pull everybody back up. And the guys, they did a really good job. Rich did a good job from the start. The county has a fatality investigation team, so it turned into a long, that was a rotten day. The weather was terrible. I don't know. I swear I saw almost everybody from town came through our flare pattern. But the OSP, Roseburg, Douglas County, sheriffs, and everybody's involved, and it turns into a huge investigation. And it was a long night, but it came out, the folks did a really
They're coming back from Roseburg about an hour after the accident. Didn't know what had happened, and as I was passing by, you know, all the crew, I thought they did a terrific job of handling all the traffic.
We had a lot of comments about not being able to see it. That team came out, and there were so many police cars, and there was 4 tow trucks. I don't know why they bring 4 tow trucks for. We only had 2 cars involved. Eventually, we had to go around and start turning light bars off, because you get so many lights going that you can't see, and people were coming up to us and go, we can't see your people standing out there. And we're doing everything we can. We're getting lighted cones, and we have traffic, all kinds of different types of traffic safety devices now. Anyway, the training, firefighter 1 class is still continuing. The UCC trailer's out there in the parking lot. It got here late. It was supposed to be here the first week of November. Got here a few days ago. So the last week of October, excuse me.
Sure.
We've used it for some physical agility testing last week. We're going to try to burn tomorrow night. OSHA, Oregon OSHA especially, there's a whole procedure you got to do live burning and experiment, put people in 500-degree oven out there. So we have to have a certain amount of people. Last week I was a few people short, and we had 10 Mile coming over to help staff that, but we needed some safety officers and people with more experience. So we should be able to gather that this week. And then Joel King from UCC is also coming down to help us out. He's actually the guy that kind of administers that trailer out there.
Steve, regarding that training tomorrow, is there a way that photos can be taken of what's being done?
Yeah.
Is
I should have brought you here last week. It was really
Yeah,
good.
so do you want me to come down with my camera and do that? I'll try.
We've been using it as part of a physical agility test. We have 10 stations set up, and last week we ran them all through it. It's kind of laying on the board here, but all aspects of firefighting. It's kind of like a graduation for the explorers and stuff. So that trailer really helped out, because we need somewhere high to do some hose hoisting, and they got some stairs, and they have a place where they can take hose in and shoot water, and it also has a forcible entry prop inside it where you can attack a locked door, and it's covered with enough sheet metal you can't destroy it, but you can force it open. So it gives us some good options. So we'll have it. There's a call for us. Let's see. I'll see if some people come in here in the next minute too. If not, then I'll take off.
If you need us to finish
Yeah.
reading the report for you, we can do that.
Okay. A recent training has been a hose streams, salvage, equipment maintenance, and inventory. We did fire prevention training here for the Geneva Academy. Some of our firefighters' kids are in that academy. There's 56 kids. Lookingglass school canceled out on us, and we're going to try to set it up for the future, because they're required to do that annually, and they just had a problem with time and everything. It worked out really good. The explorers we used got excused from school for volunteer hours. So we have a paperwork deal where we finish paperwork to the school, and they'll let them stay out of school for the day and get credit for it. So that worked out really well. And Lindsay and Ridge organized that again. They did a great job. We had a fire extinguisher class, smoke detectors, and meet the firefighter class. We had a physical agility course we set up for youth this year that we got out of YouTube somewhere. But so the kids actually got to go through cones carrying a little miniature dummy and squirt of water and that kind of stuff. And we had the fun house with those. And let's see, explorers and volunteers participated in a funeral for 10 Mile firefighter Tex Cooper. He was a long-time firefighter over there that passed away late last month. So we were able to go over there and help them out. I had one volunteer resign due to physical health reasons, and a long-term chronic injury with his shoulder, and then plus he lives up in Larson, but way up on Buzz Mountain. It takes him 20 minutes or so to get here by the time it comes down to dirt road. So And Explorers, 3 of our Explorers are now 18 and they're firefighter 1, so we're absorbing them into their volunteer program. So we're continuing to work towards firefighter 1 certification with everybody else. Last month, I mentioned we had one disciplinary issue pending, and that's been resolved with no need for action. We had a report from a school of one of our kids being involved in something. Ended up, when they checked the cameras and stuff, he wasn't involved in it. And we made a policy with our Explorers that if school is important, and if they're suspended from school, they're suspended from here. Or if they've got in trouble at school, they're in trouble here. So we took him off because he was suspended pending the investigation. And the investigation turned out that there was nothing, and he wasn't involved. So let's see. The new 1080, I just got a call today from them. It's having the final plumbing finished. Our rep from the factory is going back this Friday, and they're supposed to get pictures for us again, like they said last month. We expect the final inspection and it to be moved to Spokane around the 1st of December. And then from there, we'll deal with getting it here and making sure it's all finished up. We got some new medical equipment this month. The county's using a thing, it's like a miniature air mattress that goes on backboards now. If anybody's ever been on a backboard, like after a track accident or something, they put you on a flat board to protect your C-spine, your neck and everything. Well, nobody in the world has a flat back and neck and everything else. So usually, and it's been proven actually, that sometimes that may damage people's spine. So now they've got these low pressure air, it's like an air mattress that goes onto the backboard first. You set the person on it, then blow it up real low, fills in all the voids like around your neck and the hole in your back and that kind of stuff. So that was about $78. It's county EMS approved, so what happens, we had to come up with the money. We paid the original $78 out of our medical expendables, and then whenever we use them from here on out, they get replaced by the medic unit that's here. So that was a one-time expense. We received some other medical expendables, AED stuff that was expiring. Purchased a vent fan for the PPE dryer. I'll talk about that a little later. We continued BFA equipment purchase. We got in a portable fire pump that's really nice. It gives us ability to any water source that's more than 6 inches deep we can draft out of just by floating on there. Helmets, gloves, boots. We ordered our last PPE, which is the shirts and pants, which is they're about $1,700 a set, so that's one of the bigger expenses on our VFA grant.
Steve, can I interrupt you? Do you need to deal with that call you've got?
No, because you haven't hit us again. So what's happened is the banks and some of them have gone to the call that live out there.
Oh, okay, so somebody responded.
Yeah, I mean, geez, so let's see. So the PPE, we've been getting that every year on the VFA grant, and it's kind of rare to get the VFA grant every year because it's based, one of the major factors of it is that you haven't got it last year. But there's other factors, depending on the type of stuff you buy, buying training programs, buying ISO equipment that will improve our rating, that kind of stuff. So we've been doing that just to meet their requirements, and we've been getting the grant every year. So we've got it 3 years straight, and I hope we'll keep on doing that. So what I've been using that for is our PPE, our pants and trousers have a 10-year service life. So if I can get 2 a year over 10 years, I can keep our supply always in date. And what happened a few years before most of you guys are on the board was we had like a $36,000 purchase one year for PPE that was all expired at one time. So I'm trying to keep that from happening. So as long as we keep getting those grants, then we can keep our stuff updated, and we won't have to get any big, I don't know, ask for more taxes or something. If we keep it budgeted out right. Let's see. The grant purchases have to be done by December 31st, and then right around January 1st, we're actually going to be finished by December 1st. By January 1st, I have to have it all together and sent to them by January 15th, and we should get our money back about $8,500 sometimes around the 1st of February. For facility, we installed PPE racks for the Explorers. We built those in-house. The fire prevention material and all the boxes upstairs got put into our cabinets that we bought. We're still cleaning up a little bit up there. We finished the PPE drying racks, so we'll have them in your next meeting. We got bids. Last year I had budgeted about $6,000 for protective equipment, washing and drying, and we spent about $600. And this year I didn't continue the budgeting, but we've had some savings in our equipment testing and maintenance. So we had some bids for these racks that they make of about $6,000 to $7,000. And we took a look at it and it's PVC with a fan. So we were able to do it with about $400 of PVC and just buying a ventilation fan. So for a little bit less than $700, we made our own. So we're all set up for washing and drying now and meeting OSHA's requirements for maintaining our equipment. I received a letter today from the state about our in lieu of audit. They said that they never got it, which was surprising to me because I sent it. And I have a receipt for it, and we paid for it. And where is it? It's right here somewhere. Anyway, I talked to them today, and the lady who takes them was on vacation at the time we sent it, which was September 16th, and I had it in our archive. I had an archive copy of it, and I said, well, maybe the attachment wasn't on it, but the attachment was on it. And she went back and looked, and they did, in fact, receive it that day, but an intern was there and didn't upload it to the state's website. And about a couple weeks ago, I was looking on the website just to see if it was there, and it wasn't there, and I kind of figured, well, heck, it must take a long time to get posted. Anyway, it's all taken care of now. That's done. And we have another receipt saying that they have it. Let's see. The SDAO liability insurance, if you guys want to look at it, went through and made some changes on the amount of people we have, some of the money for services, the stuff that we have to do for next year's liability insurance. There was some changes we made. It's not going to affect our premiums or anything. There was some stuff that hadn't been required to be disclosed before, like services for the physician advisor or legal services, any kind of testing service. We're supposed to write down the budgeted expense for it. Vehicle testing and maintenance. So I did all that and sent that back in, and that was due November 11th. I sent it back in the middle of October, I think. We also qualified for the best practices for 10% again this year for the discount, so thank you guys for doing that form, and that should be good. One concern I had was for workman's comp was we actually had a claim this year, and I know in the past, a long time ago, we had SDAO for insurance, and the premiums went up when they made a claim one year because our rating got changed. Well, I just got a letter from them talking about our rates for the coming year, and they're actually based on the past 3 years, not this current year, so it shouldn't affect our rates coming up. They're based on 13, 14, 15, so we'll see what happens after that. I looked at the whistleblower policy with Jerry, and I think I sent it back to him. I'm working on the SOR, Standard Operating Procedure Manual we issued to all our people, and it by OSHA requires some mandated things, like our incident command system, what we're supposed to do in structure fires, our use of vehicles, hazardous materials, incidents, that kind of stuff. So the new OSHA update that came in last year required us to do a little bit more. So I've been starting to write those procedures and update our SOPs, so I'll be doing that over the winter. I started with the incident command one, and we're going from there. Received 3 bills late that you guys took care of that tonight, and taxes should be around the 20th. I got an application for a couple more grants. Three Rivers Grant is a grant from the tribes down along the coast of in Reedsport, Coos Bay, Bandon. And because we're in the headwaters of the Umpqua River, we can qualify for that. It's about a $3,000 to $5,000 grant. So I'm going to apply for that this year and try to get another couple sets of PPE, just in case we don't get the VFA grant. And that'll keep us kind of a little bit ahead of it. And that'll fit right in with that amount. So, and then SDAO has a safety grant right now that this year's theme for them is back injuries. So they're matching 3/4, 75%, 25% for our size of district for stuff that would prevent back injuries. And their suggestion is like hand trucks and rolling carts for carrying hose around and that kind of stuff. So it will be, that's not a budgeted expense in our budget, but it'd be less than $500 total, and then a 75% match. So I'm gonna try to dig up some money out of somewhere in the budget, and I'll let you guys know about that one. But if they're gonna offer up that money, and we'll try to do that. And plus, it might prevent some back injuries. Christmas family, Secret Santa. Last week, the school contacted us and identified a family. It's a local family here in town with 3 children. We're accepting some funds. We have enough funds in our association's money to handle this year. We're going to approach the store. I think we're going to start doing presents at the farmer's market again, and just have a booth out there for change or something. And we got our tax exempt status back this year, the association did, so we can offer receipts to people. The food is already covered as well. Now, we're not talking about Thanksgiving, but we're talking, the Christmas food is already covered. We've got 3 churches that are participating, and there's going to be more than enough for that family. I understand the Grange last night. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same family, or you guys are going to look for some other
I
families.
believe they'll go for other families.
Okay, that sounds good. So if anybody wants to donate, we're going to have a ability to donate at the store, and we'll try to do some more donation. The kids, the Explorers are supposed to be setting up a change collection and cans. That hasn't gone off yet, so I'm letting them run it, so we're going to see how that works. But we're in, financially, we're in good shape as far as this year, but if anybody wants to donate anyway in the community, if they have the opportunity to, we'll apply to next year, or rebuild our association's funds. The church has really stepped up. And last week, the one family we had, they had a freezer, thank God, because man, that thing got filled with meat and everything else. I think that's it for that.
Thank you, sir. And so you already covered, obviously, Christmas update and Thanksgiving, which was our only old business.
Yeah.
So if you get money from Costco, do you,
We'll use it for food or something, or else that would be part of the shopping experience.
because you could do that, because you're still gonna shop for gifts. Because there'll be a cash card which allows you to spend.
We appreciate it. Because that's what happens, is Lindsay takes a mom out, and they go shopping, and they shop for what they need. And she does some guided shopping as far as making sure that clothes and that kind of stuff is done first, and then they start getting out toys and then
All right, thank you, sir. New business, sign a committee for whistleblower policy?
Yes, because we do have to develop a whistleblower policy, and we need to have a first reading at 1 month and then a second reading the next month, and then the board votes on it. Steve, as he mentioned, has already been working on one. I gave him some suggestions. I would like to recommend that we have a third person review it, and that we really look to make sure we're including what needs to be in the policy. But that committee, I would suggest, should also work on the revisions that are needed to the operations manual. because I had suggested that we include information about the whistleblower policy and the operations manual and about the procedure for handing out the policy to all employees, and our volunteers are considered employees even though they're not paid.
You'll email me a copy?
Sure.
What we got was a cut and pasted one from SDAO, and it was obviously cut and pasted. It needed to be edited quite a bit, so I messed with it a little bit, and I said, well, heck, I'm gonna send it to Jerry, because he's our communications guy.
But didn't worry
And then,
about
the one you got back was great, what you did, and he put it into our policy manual format with the seal and everything on it. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'll be the third person.
Great.
But I think that there was a few issues that we need to identify, like how to report. I think it just says written or verbal, but whether we need a form and some kind of log maybe that we got a complaint and where it should be kept and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there are still some revisions. What I'll do, Robert, is forward the email that I sent to Steve with my draft revision,
Okay.
so that you'll have information along with what I said in the email about some suggestions for further things we may need to look at.
Okay, thank you. Update on insurance?
That got sent in, and I don't anticipate any increases. They haven't notified, usually they notify us in the fall if they expected any increases. One thing about it was that we had been reassessed in about August. I think somewhere in our minutes it'll say that. But that assessment had still not got back to them as of October when they sent this to me, so they just said, we're just gonna go with what you got right now, and we'll change it next year. They increased the value of our property a little bit in some of the equipment.
Do you know what that new truck's gonna cost us on insurance? Do we have any ideas?
No, you know what, I can ask them, but they said not even worry about it till after we got here, take care of it, it's covered as long as we're covered with that.
And Dennis told me it doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'll check on that,
Okay.
what the difference is.
All right, thank you. Jerry brought up the old computer, clearing the old computer out, but using it still in the department for training and that?
I'm using it mostly as, there's a few old programs on there that program our pagers, for example, and such, but I can probably get a newer version of that.
If the computer's still of value, there's gotta be, can you remove the modem so it doesn't get
Well, we
online?
can just disconnect it from the internet.
Well, it's not
That would be
connected.
my suggestion, because it has Windows 7 and Microsoft has now stopped all support for Windows 7 and 8, so it won't get any more security updates. So we should not have it going on the internet.
That has been, I think it's been removed.
But is there a way for us to make sure nobody can plug it in? I mean, take it off, put it inside the little.
Only if it's
plug it-
moved to another location.
If the computer is?
Yeah, the computer and monitor would need to be moved to a different location, because otherwise it's located right near the modem, and if somebody wanted to, they could easily connect
plug
it
it
up
in.
to the
I'm
modem, or to the router, actually.
well, I guess we can talk about that as a new business next month, but I'm kind of getting to the point where we have a bunch of old stuff around here which we're not using. And after that, I have a few programs on the computer I use, and other than that, I haven't been on it in 5 months probably. And I think we could probably start cleaning that stuff out. I don't know,
Right.
and there's probably no monetary value to it, it just needs to be surplus or
But it
something.
can still be useful, as we said, for
As-
perhaps training purposes,
Mhm.
for the volunteers to watch videos. If you have training videos, they can still do that. But we need to make sure any important information has been backed up to the external hard drive, and that we wipe out all information that's on there that we don't want on there. And, I can help with that to clean it as well as we're able to.
Why don't we do that? And then another issue we have is we have 2 old laptops now.
Right.
We have an Apple from years ago that's been sitting here and hasn't been used. And then the other one we just got done with, and that needs to be cleaned off. And
Yeah, my suggestion on that would be with the Apple to wipe out any information that might be on that. And then we would need a vote of the board to just turn it in, such as to Staples for recycling, because it's so old, you know, it won't even, you can't even update the operating system on it to a newer operating system. It's just not worth trying to hold on to it.
So do you want to clean those up and then after it's done, next month, we'll go ahead and open it up to send it in as a
That
Staples?
sounds good.
Maybe I'll talk with Jared about
Okay.
that, maybe we'll meet down here and try to figure out when day one, what should we have to go to.
Sure.
I've got some old documents on there, like our billing documents were all done on that computer, but now, since it's not hooked up to any printers or anything, so it's, you know, it's just, all I've been doing is taking them off on a thumb drive and using them on somewhere
But
else.
Steve, also consider what software you are using on there, and if there are newer versions, if we're not able to transfer it to the new computer,
Right.
if it's so old it's not worthwhile, then propose next month that we purchase newer versions of whatever software you need.
Yeah, the only thing I'm really using is that pager programming thing, and I have a CD for it. I'm not sure if it'll work on a newer Windows 10 or something, so we'll see.
Okay, would you be able to investigate
Yeah.
by next month to see if there's
Yeah.
a newer version and what it would cost, or if, you know, the old version is even compatible with Windows 10, it may not be.
Yeah.
And if you need some assistance on checking on that, I can help you.
One last thing, as long as we're talking about that, is we've talked off and on about what to do with old 1080, and I had just talking with my senior officers and people around here. The fact of the matter is we have nowhere to store it. We have some offers on wanting to buy it, and I'm not really, I'm becoming more interested in not keeping old stuff around here. We justified the fact that that thing's older, it's becoming obsolete, and that's why we replaced it. And the back part of it, the extinguishing part of it, could be resold for money. And we have some interest from other fire departments around here in purchasing it. And if we can get, I'm gonna talk with the Cascade, Craig Cockrell. He can give me a current value on what the back part of it's worth. And we have an estimated value of it, I think, in our, as far as assessed value, of like $12,000 or something. I don't know if we could even get that, but
Steve?
that's where we're gonna work on it. You know, as far as ISO and that kind of stuff, it's not gonna help us to be, what we need up in Flournoy Valley is a station with an engine, like putting our second engine up there or something. That, I told you guys before, that's what my thrust is this year, is to try to figure out how, with Glide doing the same thing with some grants and stuff a few years ago, is try to get something up there that's functional and will save money for our taxpayers up there, so. Anyway, yes.
So are you saying that you don't think it would be worthwhile to hold on to 1080 for Flournoy Valley?
I don't think it would be. I think what I'm more interested in getting, it's not really, as a utility vehicle to carry extra stuff, its load capacity, it's full right now. I mean, we could sell out the thing in the back, but it's a 454 gas engine. It's not efficient or anything else, so I can actually, what I'm going to explore again is looking through DFPA and try to get some federal access policy for property like a four-wheel drive pickup or a crew cab or something that we can use to haul equipment or bring back hose from a call or something like that, and use it as a vehicle for our personnel too. So that's kind of the direction. It's all up to you, and it's up, and then us together. But I'm looking at more maybe surplus in that thing and getting a decent price for it, and getting some money out of it, and not keeping it around.
So just put it out for bid.
I'm kind of-
Find out what the value is, and then
Yeah.
put it out for bid, and then just say, here you go.
Yeah.
Should we perhaps have a motion to authorize Steve to put it out for bid?
I will
And see
entertain,
what-
yeah, I'll entertain a motion for Steve to put
Okay.
1080 out for a bid. Get obviously an estimate, after we get the estimate, we can sit down next month, talk about, because, you know, fair market value is, something's only worth what somebody will pay. So, yeah, I'll entertain a motion for Steve to
I
start
would
pursuing.
job for the chief to put 1080 out for bid and see what kind of bids he can get on it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passes, thank you.
Okay, just for clarification on that though, I would think that when bids are received, Steve would have to present that to the board and we would have to vote whether or not we're going to accept any of the bids.
Correct, correct.
I'm kind of in a very preliminary, we've had a few people ask about it and want to purchase it and stuff, and I'm in a very preliminary mode as far as, I know where I can get the value of what the pump system, all that stuff, from there on. And I've seen what some of the older ones are going for in the papers and stuff, they're going for $8,000-$10,000 or so. Which would be a nice money to put back into our.
So are you gonna put together some
Yeah.
kind of a formal bid procedure and form?
Yeah,
Okay.
and let's just start sniffing around for what the value of it is and all that kind of stuff. too.
Is that something perhaps that can be put into the SGAO newsletter? Because I've seen various
Yeah.
things in the newsletter from various departments, like advertising job positions and other things.
We also get a Oregon Fire Chiefs thing, a daily report, and they have the used equipment at the bottom of that every day too.
Perfect, thank you. I am good. Does anybody on the board have any areas of concern they'd like to go over?
I'm good too.
Hank? Okay, no board member comments? Ma'am, we open it up to you again for the,
I just have to say, you're all doing a great job.
thank you, we try to. All right, with that said, we appreciate it. The next meeting's December 14th at 7 PM. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.